listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Got the truth in my pack, leftist lies and globalists, I'm pushing them back. From the saloon to the airwaves, I'm spitting it raw. Constitution's my compass, liberty's law. Big guns creeping, shadows on the land. Feds with the schemes trying to bind up my hands. But I'm the Sherpa, guiding through the storm. Red, white, and blue, yeah, freedom's reborn. They spin their tails, but I see through the haze. Media maggots, lost in the maze. I'm calling it out, no fear in my soul. This patriot's fire ain't losing control. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. Freedom's calling. Leftist judges twisting, trying to steal our rights, but I'm locked and loaded, got them in my sights. From J6 to the border, they're selling us out. I'm screaming from the mountain, hear my rebel shout. They mock the flag, but I'm holding it high. Stars and stripes forever under God's open sky. No globalist chains gonna cage this land. I'm the Sherpa with the truth in my hand. They push their agenda, but I'm breaking the mold. Their promises empty, their hearts ice cold. Chicago's bleeding, borders torn apart. I'm fighting for the people with the warrior's heart. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. I've walked the line, 41 years, badge on the grind, now I'm on the air. My voice like a blade, cutting through the lies that the traitors made. Hurricanes rage, but we're standing tall. Sheriffs of the Constitution answering the call. From the saloon to the heart of the fray, we're taking back America, no more delay. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. Hear my voice resound. Conservative Sherpa, freedom's battleground. Berserk Bobcat rolls will never kneel. For God and country, this fight is real.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, a radio show where I am broadcasting from Nof, Idaho, in the plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent SHR studio. Plus, you can jump into our very own plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room that I paid thousands and thousands of dollars for to get that view. That view cannot be found any other place than here. And welcome. Merry Christmas from Sean Clint BZ, also from Earl, and also from Jersey Joe, and also from gosh, who is that guy? BZ and all the people at SHR. We enjoy bringing our stuff to you. I have a weird show tonight. It's going to go all sorts of places. I should have been monitoring Sean's show, but something happened a little earlier today that just was really weird. And it kind of threw me off course, and I had to try to kind of figure out how to deal with that. And then something not pleasant is going to happen tomorrow. I may or may not regale those particular tales. I'll just have to wait and see how that happens. But adding to the stage, the act you've known for all these years, welcome, Jeremy Hanson.
How are you? And Merry Christmas, or at least a Merry Christmas time.
Yes, Merry Christmas. And hey, folks, if you would look, let me see if I'm pointing the right way. There we go. Down there under where it says, God, BZ, keep your finger in the frame. Right there where it says Jeremy Hanson. If you look a little lower, you'll see it says Mr. Hanson Podcast. So Jeremy Hanson, whom I like to promote whenever I can, I have been known to be personally responsible for adding at least 3 listeners to his podcasts, because my podcast is so revered and so influential all throughout the Boneyard land. I have thrown him literally maybe 4 listeners to his show, but I want him to get on here tonight and tell you about his new podcast. I've had Jeremy on here a whole bunch of times. Jeremy, super cool dude. So Jeremy Hanson, if you would, pretty please take it away, sir. Go.
Thank you very much. I'm really, really excited about this. I mean, you know better than anybody, BZ, how many irons I always have in the fire. Excuse me. And this one, though, this one's different. This Mr. Hanson Podcast, and you can go there at mrhansonpodcast.com. I have tons of sweat equity, energy, real money, time, sleepless nights going into this. And I have had this introduced me to a new world I didn't even know existed. I'm talking about production companies calling me about a couple of the which I sent VZ one of them. The stories that I'm telling, and they're about mystery, and they're about, human conviction, and, the power of being human, that the mystical part that we don't talk about, like humans doing better than the odds or stacked against them, or the stories that other people haven't told, I'm telling on this podcast. Some of it's true crime, some of it's mystery, some of it's just human conquest, but they're all fun shows. And I really, really went deep with this one, BZ. I got new mics because I had to.
Wait. Now, Jeremy knows why I'm saying wait. He's laughing because he knows what's coming. Now, Jeremy is what I wanted to be, but because whenever I lost the bulk of my hearing, it became eminently pointless. Jeremy and myself, we're involved in mic porn. Okay.
Yes.
So when I have, you can't see them. There's like 2 or 3 over here, and then there's a whole bunch on the wall. I just collected them to collect them until I lost my hearing, and then, but didn't make a damn bit of difference. But Jeremy is a true tried believer in mics and is a mic whore, and this proves it. What did you get?
Okay, so this, my friend, is an Austrian Audio OC18.
Okay.
It's a condenser mic. It is a transistor mic, though. It is not a tube mic. However, I think it sounds glorious, and it takes anything that you throw at it, and it is so smooth. Like, you can get any sound you want out of this, which for us, because we're mic addicts, okay, we really do have a problem.
Guilty.
It can be dangerous. Now, are you okay right now? Like, you haven't hit the cup enough right yet?
Because of what's happening tomorrow, I cannot have no alcohol today, yesterday, day before, no mas. Not for a while.
Okay, so I'm going to show you this. Now, I don't want you to have any problems.
Get envious?
Yes. Now this is a Telefunken TF-39.
Oh, you fucker.
Now, I traded, if you did know, I told you that I had a U-87.
And I said you fucker to that one too previously.
You did. This one's a little special. This one was made in Telefunken out on the East Coast, their American style production facility here. And they hand put a tube from a TF-47 in that with the circuitry of a TF-39 to get that real gravitas, real storytelling, audio immersive HBO style sound. And I didn't have the cash to roll it all, so I sold my U-87. So,
and who didn't you ask about that?
Well, Beasley's helped me for so long, and he probably, I know if I called him, hey, I need this, he would have been like, well, why did you ask me sooner? But it wasn't about that.
Your mic.
Yeah. Oh, well, for sure. I mean, I probably should have. I'm sorry, but it's Christmas time, man.
Well, that's true. Hey, I want to tell everybody a true story, and I know this for a fact because I was born before Jeremy over here. Okay, so initially, I was born before Jeremy, and God said, "Go forth, young man, be old, but the voice that you're going to lust after later in life will not be issued to you from factory." That voice, and I heard this name that many years ago, 70 plus years ago. God said, that voice, once particularly, maybe, reserved for you, is going, in fact, to Jeremy Hanson over here. Okay, so like Jeremy Hanson needs a great microphone, because it's like you could say, moose and squirrel in Jeremy Hanson voice. And I don't understand why you don't do voiceovers. But anyway, that bastard over there got the voice that if I ever get close to his state, well, I'm coming with a scalpel, mister.
Well, I mean, we're going to be seeing each other sooner than later. But this one is super, super, super important to me. You didn't know this, BZ, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When I was in high school, and I don't talk about high school that often, I was mercilessly destroyed by my fellow football players and wrestlers because I was in forensics. And, the cool kids back then didn't go into forensics. The joke was kind of on them because I met a lot of hot chicks in forensics, But I went to state for 4 years in a row because there's been two things that I've always been good at. One is storytelling, and the second one is public speaking. For some reason, I never got that bug that I was afraid to get up in front of, 1,000 people and sit there and tell a story. It wasn't. And I got gold, or which would have been first place 4 years in a row at state. I never did anything with it, really. I mean, sitting and doing a podcast behind a computer screen is a little bit different than, going out and public speaking. Well, then I ran for public office and it seemed to work pretty good. And I noticed that my kids loved it when I told them stories. And this is that part of me. This is me being audio immersive. This is me. I'm not just telling you something. I'm actually voice acting in this in different parts and in different ways to bring out emotion in people. And I am having a blast. And it's so cool. The first two, they dropped Thursday, get this, at 3 a.m. Eastern time. Now, the reason is I found out that Google indexes these types of things with different eyes looking at them different than they do other places. And I wanted to tell you, if it's okay, some of the new things that I've learned in the last month and a half while trying to see if I could get not just sponsors, but like talking to like SiriusXM and talking to Amazon, Audible, Wondery, places like that. I learned a few things, such as it's all about the numbers. Okay, it's literally all about the numbers.
Boy, is SHR and Sean learning about that.
Yeah, it's kind of now you can look at the numbers different ways, but it's all about the numbers. And by numbers, I don't just mean the viewers you get. It's about money. Now I can't say who, but I was offered $400,000 for season 1 of Mr. Hanson podcast. The problem with that is if they buy the podcast, it's only with them for about 6 months, and then you get the podcast back, but they retain the rights. And you see.
Oh, and let me guess, that contract was 30 pages.
Yeah, at least, if not a little bit more. And yeah, they're sitting there telling me, you need to do season 1 and take your offers on season 2 because then it puts you in a different category. The big thing for me was simply that they really didn't care that much about the show.
The content, right.
Yeah, they didn't care about that. They cared about, is this valuable for us within a 120-day window and a 90-day window? And then more than that, they're interested in, can we take one of these episodes and create a feature film with it? So I'm talking to people that work with Netflix, and I'm talking to people, we really, really like this. But, we'd have to create this evolution of the story and maybe go on further. And this is what we're willing to pay you up front right now. And I was trying to run this like the Taylor Sheridan model, if you know what I mean. Yellowstone, put it in seasons, which I'm still doing, by the way, but I'm doing it myself. But this is the one that hurt my heart. And this is what I really found. They will take your show. They will give you a certain amount of money. They will make millions of dollars on it. They will give you your podcast back after 120 days, but all the rights pertaining to that podcast past that belong to them, including any of the subscribers that you get for your podcast.
I speak leftist, so I'll translate. You will own nothing and you will be happy.
Correct. And then after they've got that, well, and this is the problem I ran into, when you run season 2, how many of those subscribers that go on to season 2 actually don't belong to you? And that money that they gave you to begin with, they can get back because there's a clause in there that you can't talk about things if you sign the clause. If you sign the contract, you can't talk about this. So how many people that sign up, that subscribe, actually came from season 2 and not season 1? Do you see the problem there, the intersection there?
You will own nothing and you will be happy. And you will be paid in this total equation. You will likely be paid the least.
Pretty much. Out of everybody that was doing everything, they want to basically rent you and squeeze you like a rag and get everything. This is my introduction to the big time. I talked to Gersh. I talked to United Artists. Now, both of them reached out to me because I didn't know that I actually needed representation for this stuff. They reached out to me and they said, who's your manager? I said, I don't have a manager. I'm my own manager. Well, we can't talk to you. We can't talk to you until you go get a manager. And I said, okay, well, which manager should I go get? What agency? Because I found out there's like different tiers of agencies for all this different stuff. Which one should I go get? Just do a little bit of research. We can't say which one we want. Right. So here I am. I'm on the dirt floor level, although I think the content, and I know you had a chance to listen to it. We never really got a chance to talk about if you liked it. But
well, I got a sample. Can I play the sample?
Absolutely.
Okay. This is it's a podcast, so it's audio only. So here we go.
The Mr. Hanson Podcast. You think you know what podcasts sound like. You don't. If you're obsessed with mystery, hooked on true crime, fascinated by human conquest, the Mr. Hanson Podcast is where you need to be. This is brand new. This is Hollywood in your ears. Film-level production, original scores, sound design so immersive, you won't just hear the story, you'll be inside it. We're building the best podcast in the world, exploring stories never told, discovering truths waiting to be found. And if you're not listening, you're missing it.
So, having said that, now, That tells me that you've gone from podcaster to potential sound designer, which means that you've made any number of purchases to get as many effects as you can, because you're not video, you're doing audio. What
Correct.
that means is you got to have the best audio, you got to have the best mic. And so your sound design and the effects you use have to be number one, first class. So you must have had to assemble all that beforehand, because
Yeah.
I'm sure you already know how to edit like crazy.
So, okay, you're gonna laugh at me for this. I'm not a big production, like a lot of money to throw around. So I was very, very smart. I went out and did a whole bunch of pressure washing jobs with my wife. She went and helped me. We took that money. We bought some shotgun microphones. We bought a stereo microphone. We went and used our Zoom H6. We took classes on sound design, actually. When just a few weeks ago, when the Black Friday sales hit, my nephew, which is very, very good tech guy, he said, "Hey, you need a better computer to do what you're doing with the sound." I said, "Okay, well, I don't have the $5,000 or $6,000 that I need to do this." My nephew took the time to search for a long time, called companies, everything, and he built me this computer. And I'm going to tell you what I know. It clocks at 6.8 gigahertz, whatever that means. It's 2 terabytes, 2 terabytes, 2 terabytes, 64 gigabytes, whatever that means. And it's super fast and it's super good and it's got upgraded, whatever. But I got it for $1,400 because he put it all together for free, had found the parts and called around and blah, blah, blah. You want to be part of this? He did that. I
Bargain.
switched. Yeah, it was great.
Bargain.
Kudos to him, Johnny. I appreciate it. My Apollo Twin, I switched from my DLZ Creator and I got an Apollo Twin X. I had,
Which is
it's an audio interface,
okay.
but you get to use the audio interface with real-time plugins. So on that, I'm running a Neve. I'm running a Neve preamp. I'm running a Neve compressor. I'm running a Pultec equalizer. All of that stuff. That's like the best in the world for that. So I'm
Right.
running all
Just
of that
like mine.
stuff. Yes. Yeah. So, and then Telefunken worked out a deal. Now we're not officially sponsored yet. We are, what do you call it? And they're going to kill me for not saying this right, but basically we're an artist forum, but we're the first podcast artist that they have. And it's both me and my wife. My wife has a beautiful Telefunken TF-17 sitting over there at her desk. We're doing We Are the Hansons and Among Monsters, which is really, really cool. And the more you spend on mics, I see the reason that they do it, because you can do anything with them. It's not like me and you right now, like we're live streaming. You can make like the RE20 you're using. Sounds freaking great. But when you start getting up there where you need to manipulate the sound design of that mic, that's when these other mics start paying off. And there's reasons to have them. Trust me, it's a pain in the butt switching these out. And like that Copperhead I showed you, I literally have to start that and let that warm up for 20 minutes before I can even use it.
Pretty soon it takes over the world, takes over your house.
So, and then I also did a bunch of crash courses in writing. And this was really cool because you've actually inspired me, BZ, with all the books you read. And then in our conversations, you tell me, you got to check out this book. You got to listen, this is awesome. And you'll say these quotes. And then I look and I was like, damn, BZ's right. Well, I start looking, I start seeing, I start finding out, I start researching these stories. And I've learned this. AI can only take you so far because AI is wrong probably
a good percentile of the
40,
time.
Yeah, 40% of the time. Like I've been looking into stories and the girl was strangled, and then ChatGPT comes out and it'll say something like, yeah, she was bludgeoned in the head. And I'm like, no. Well, she was strangled. Okay, let's go back and do this again. That sort of thing. The first one that I'm rolling out Thursday, I think that you're really going to love. It's about a guy that was from, I want to say this right. I think it was San Bernardino. And he was broke. He was a vacuum cleaner salesman. His wife left him. He was losing his house. His car took a shit on the side of the road. He stepped out of his car and he looked at the moon and he wondered who actually owned the moon. So he went to San Francisco Register of Deeds and he registered ownership of the moon. And then he went and he sold the moon to the tune of $12 million until the United States, NASA, China, Russia, all these countries got together and they said, nope, nobody can own the moon. Okay, that was back in like 2008. And then now, all of those countries that told this guy that he couldn't own the moon, even though he had legal ownership and he sent all these countries, I'm going to claim the moon. They never got back with him. Then they said that he couldn't do it. And now they've actually wrote legislation saying that countries like Russia, United States can own the moon and they can own the things that we're going to mine from it and blah, blah, blah. But it's a wonderful story and it's fun because you can set it next to your bed. You can shut the lights off and you feel like you're in the story. And that's what I'm so excited about.
Let me ask you I'm sorry for some of the politicians. I have to rephrase this. Jeremy Hanson, let me ask you a question. Are you, because I know this dude was a favorite of yours, and I can distinctly remember listening to him live years and years when I was in terrestrial radio. Are you kind of trying to Paul Harvey a few things, only on an extended type format?
100,000%. Paul Harvey is my favorite radio man of all time. I love him to death. The Paul Harvey Museum is in Branson, Missouri, which is right down the road from me. Most people don't know, but he was kind of a farmer. His son was a farmer. His son wrote most of the material for him, and Harvey was just so great at storytelling and projecting his voice and how he did it. I absolutely loved it, and I would say that's 1,000% the direction. If you took Paul Harvey and you mixed high-level HBO, that's what this is.
Cool. Very nice.
Yes. And I want to say thank you, BZ. I know you got a busy show. You know, I watch the people all the time. I'm always on your show. Even if I'm not around, I still have like your phone and it's on mute. Like every once in a while, if you notice, I'll come in and I'll say something towards the middle of the show or the end of the show. I might not be able to be on there typing, but I am listening because I might have to use that as fodder later, if you know what I mean.
Thank you very much. Theft is a great honor.
Right.
And like I say, I'm not going anywhere. So Mr. Steal away.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's, you have a different perspective. And I think with storytelling, like, I'll give you an example. You're a Batman fan, right?
Never was a DC fan very much.
Never. Wow. Okay.
Almost never. I was a Marvel guy from like 1963 on.
Well, I'm
that old.
I want to give you a story that I'm doing that nobody else has touched. And to me, it should be. There's a man named Tom Hardy that played a character called Bane.
Bane, right. Tom Hardy's a very good actor.
Very good. And he has this voice, and the way that he communicates this voice as he's Bane in, what is it? The Dark Knight Rises, I think is the name of that movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, he got that voice because he watched a guy talk named Bartley Gorman. Okay, Bartley Gorman, hardly anybody knows him, but he was a bare knuckle boxer. He was a gypsy, and he literally talked that way just normally. He actually asked, in the heyday of Mike Tyson, he asked Mike Tyson to do a bare knuckles match with him, and he told him that he would give him the whole purse if he won, and Mike Tyson said no. So this guy, legitimate tough guy, legitimate fun. I know there was a gang that wanted to beat him up, and they showed up with 9 guys outside with baseball bats. Bartley Gorman took them all down. Came from blue-collar roots, had so much money at the end of his career, and he gave it all away. Those are the types of stories in detail that I want to tell the people to try to give a little bit of hope and try to get away from some of the relentless bullshit that Americans deal with on a daily basis.
Okay, so I'll be back Thursday. I'll be back Thursday. So if you would, in the interim, well, first I want you to verbalize what's coming and when, and then send me information, if you would, links to this so that I can have something to put into the show when this, and I can, refer some people to that. So before I break, Jeremy Hanson, where can this podcast be found, and what is the name again, if you would, please?
The name is Mr. Hanson Podcast. It's on Amazon. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere that you'd find a regular podcast. It's also, if you want to do me a big favor, it's going to help me by getting, subs, and I can send you out information. If you sub to MrHanson.com, it's www.MrHanson.com. You're going to, MrHansonPodcast.com. Got to get that right. www.MrHansonPodcast.com. If you come in and sub, there's 10 shows in the first season. The people that are subbed get another one, but it just goes to them in their email. So it's going to be fun. I encourage people to send stuff like, how did you find this out? Or what about this? Or so we can get interactive as a community and kind of have some fun, kind of like Paul Harvey did. They'd write him letters and he'd respond to the letters and things like that. But you can find it anywhere. Obviously, if you forget, Beezy will know. I promise you. I don't know what's going on with you tomorrow, Beezy, but whatever it is, I'm going to say a prayer, and we'll see how it turns out.
Thank you. By the way, do I have this right down below? Mr. Hanson Podcast?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
So you got it right, and I don't. See?
Darn it, Jim. Okay. Jeremy Hanson, thank you. What time does it come out? When is it first issued? Do you know, or is it up to the broadcasters for that?
No, it's 3 a.m. Thursday morning, Eastern time.
Eastern. Okay.
And like I said, the reason that they do that, I don't think anybody's going to listen to it at 3 a.m. But I guess Google indexes these in a certain way, and you have to have time to index it. It's way above my pay grade when it comes to that stuff. So Thursday, whenever you want, it's going to be there. And we're releasing 3 episodes the first day. The Man Who Sold the Moon, the Clementine Barnabette story about a 17-year-old girl who killed 35 people in Louisiana back in the early 1900s.
Piker. That's so easy.
A secret one. I can't tell you the secret one, but the secret one's pretty awesome too.
All righty. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Hey, send me that stuff, and I will be your finest promoter.
Thank you, sir.
So
I appreciate it.
Thank you kindly for being here. Folks, Jeremy Hanson. I'm going to take a break. During the break, we're not yet going to get into politics quite yet. I'm probably going to spill because it may affect the show. I'm not sure yet, but anyway, having said that, BZ, what the hell are you talking about? You're being so weird.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Listen in to the Reaver of Common Sense, where we cut through the noise of news and politics with a show equipped for bombast. Tune in Mondays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific, featuring a refreshing dose of reality. Jersey Joe fearlessly tackles the tough topics with no nonsense. Just pure common sense. Visit shrmedia.com, where you can hear the Reaver of Common Sense in action. He may not always be polite. He may not always be refined. But one thing's for sure. He always tells it like it is.
Are you looking for a way to boldly express your faith and love for your country? Then check out 7 Armors, the premier apparel company for patriotic men of God, where faith meets freedom in style. Our t-shirts are more than just clothing, they're statements. Bold, stylish, and meaningful. From timeless messages to modern designs, we've got something for every patriotic man of God. Wear your beliefs proudly with 7 Armors gear. Don't miss the chance to wear your faith and freedom on your sleeve. Visit 7armors.com today and join the movement. That's the number 7armors.com. 7armors.com. Faithful, vigilant, steadfast, passion.
Are you looking for bold and honest conversation about the issues shaping America? Well, let me welcome you to Unleashed 101 with Jeremy Hanson, where we take you beyond the headlines. We dive into politics and culture, struggles of everyday life. It's raw, real, and unfiltered. If you're ready for truth with a punch, pull up a chair and join us. That's right, Unleashed 101, where real talk feels like home. Find us at unleashed101.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and more. We look forward to seeing you. Unleashed 101 with Jeremy Hanson.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional. But it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And it's the first half hour gone. I'm BZ. Welcome to the show tonight. Thank you for being here. My tiara I'm wearing tonight is this, a lovely red tiara. And my accompanying shirt, which is very clear. My brain always has too many damn tabs open. True tonight. True Thursday night, true in the past, true forever. Let me give you a little bit of a Jake update. He had here in this shot, you can see, like when I say he's painfully thin, well, he's painfully thin. Such a great boy, still going outside, still doing what he needs to do. He alternates between, we gave him an IV bag, because sometimes he drinks, sometimes he doesn't. Not my kind of drinking. My kind of drinking, I've been proscribed for at least a little bit of that. So Jake, generally for the past 3 days or so, after he came back from his Saturday road trip, where he went to Jake's Cafe and back, that livened him up a little bit. So to date, to Tuesday night so far, he's doing fairly well. And also, I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone from the original SHR folks right here in the original SHR Media Studio, Fat Guy, Sackhead, Clint, and Sean. So Merry Christmas, one and all, for being here. Tonight, we're going to talk about how I hope I get to a good portion of this. I'll get to some, but we're going to be talking about the Democrat cover-ups and a lot of things that you're not supposed to say about the Democrats because you come here to hear me say them about that. Okay, so these two items I was not convinced that I wanted to talk to anybody about because generally I'm a fairly damn private person. And I don't really believe in a lot of stuff that other people believe in. I'll leave that kind of nebulous right now. So I was in my house today, sitting in a love seat, and Mrs. Beasy was next to me. We're in the living room. And the TV is mostly kind of dead ahead to us. To the left is a mission-style piece, which has glass in it that I picked up in in a little teeny town called Pacific Grove with a girlfriend right after I got my divorce, who was in charge of a furniture store, and trucked it all the way back. So the point of that is it has glass in the front. Then on top of that is an Amish clock, wooden clock, and that also has glass in it. And so there I was, being the prototypical Mark I, Model 1 old fat guy, asleep at about from about maybe 2:15 p.m. this afternoon. And I woke up at about 2:45 or so, to the point where when I tell you what happened, it affected me, and it affected me. And I made note of it in my phone, of all places. So I was asleep, and it felt as though I saw my dad, who passed in 2009 at the age of 88. And I saw his reflection and silhouette in the glass. This is the hat he was wearing. Didn't see a lot of detail. Damn, this is choking me up. And I was asleep. Probably a dream. Did it happen? Don't know. And sitting in that couch, that sofa, asleep, my dad reached out to me wearing that hat, and both of his hands, and they were old, like I remember him when he passed. So he wasn't a young man when he came back. And he grabbed my left hand in his, and it was warm. And I'm thinking, then I woke up calling for Dad. But I was talking to him in my sleep, in my dream, whether it happened in reality or not. And after that, I was super comforted. And I came to the conclusion after that I'm ready for anything. And now the reason I say that is because I have some growths in my beard over here. I'm the poster child for cancer. Most recently, a lot of skin cancer. I've had surgery on my forehead, top of my head. Sackhead Sean was the recipient of a super fucking gross photograph that I sent him some years ago of the top of my head after a Mohs surgery. And anyway, I'm going in tomorrow to take a peek at it, to have the doctor take a peek at it. And it's going to be cancerous. I can tell you that right now. And where this is located is right next to the lymph system. So let's just say I'm concerned. So depending on how emergent they discover this thing is, whether they're going to say, well, you know what? You're sweating for nothing, fat boy. This is nitrogen, and that's all it's going to take. So this may be totally overblown, but I've already had some, I think Dad came to me to say, I got you, no matter what happens. So maybe they'll pat me on my pootus, sent me away, get away, fat boy, here's your nitrogen, or they're going to schedule me for some kind of surgery. And where it is on the neck is super close to the lymph system and super close to my jaw. And if anybody remembers, because this went through my head because I'm so blasted stupid about this. Anybody remember Roger Ebert before he passed away? Go look at one of those photos, because the first thing that went through my damn brain housing group was, holy shit, I don't want to be Roger Ebert, even though he was a great writer. Anyway, so I shall know a little bit more tomorrow. And in the meantime, you know, Democrats are saying, finally, we got you now, Trump. We got you with all the women's and all that stuff. Do you? Do you really? And then people are excoriating Trump right now for the fact that he wrote what a lot of people were thinking and saying in terms of Rob Reiner. Because when you're dealing with mental health, you always have to consider when I see a young man involved in that kind of a situation, similar to Rob Reiner, or someone involved in a shooting or a mental health scenario, the first thing that I think of and envision is, what drug is this guy on? Prescription. How long has he been on it? And are the side effects driving him? If you look at the small print on any kind of a pharmaceutical box, whether it's a proverbial black box warning or others, you can't tell me that his son, whose rumors seem to indicate that he may have been in the process of attempting to transition, which is why I say, okay, great. Hey, I know, let's take people who are psychically and mentally damaged and damage them some more and make sure that we include a grand amount of mental and chemical and physical butchery so that they can transition. Because if they were already super stable people, they wouldn't be doing that shit in the first place. So if Reiner was a super stable kid, what kind of drugs were they shipping to him besides all the shit that his drug du jour from the street, etc.? That's all I'm going to say about Rob Reiner. Because to be honest, you know, after Rob Reiner was leading the hordes of individuals who would have laughed like bastards had Trump been shot live on TV, would have been overjoyed and joyous. I have no problem with Trump saying what he said about Rob Reiner. BFD. And that's it for Rob Reiner, except let's throw this up on the stage. This is 22 minutes, but this happens to be Rob Reiner speaking to John Brennan and Jim Clapper, and away we go.
Either person can sit at either place.
Either place.
Whatever's good for you.
I don't think either one of us has a good side.
You don't
so it
have a
doesn't
good
matter.
side. It doesn't
We're both
matter.
bad sides.
All right. Me too. We're both of the follically challenged. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. The thing that to me is so frustrating is that this cataclysmic thing happened to our country, and people don't seem to understand it, understand the gravity of it. And
okay, let me stop right here. As I want to say frequently, go see this. I will list this in my Rumble stream from this show. All the show links, all the articles, all the videos that I covered tonight are going to be there. And then you go watch this thing at your leisure. But Rob Reiner, in the presence of the two biggest intelligence liars that I've probably known in history. Okay, I'm going to be including Casey with that as well. But the association that you have, that he has with these two guys, that's all I need to know. Even if I knew nothing, absolutely fucking nothing about Rob Reiner, all I would need to know is what I saw right here about Rob Reiner. And then there, I'm done with him. I got no problem with that. I have a 10-minute video that I'd like to go into. I'll go into some other stories before I hit the top of the hour. Let me hit this one first. This happened to be an excellent story that you can find on shrmedia.com. shrmedia.com. And this story, I think this story is written by Jersey Joe. And that's why I say, and I go back, okay, Democrats cover up and ignore Muslim terror, but they are also the greatest foisters of hoaxes and lies in the history of politics, not to mention abject racists all. You will never get any amount of truth out of these people. And this was a great article written by Jersey Joe, which has the appropriate photographs with it that you should read at your leisure. Again, this will be posted in the show notes and the links for my show. But it essentially says this: Democrats, this was a hoax. This was a huge hoax. This was a massive hoax. It's full of fucked up Democrat bullshit, which isn't true, which makes it a hoax. And it will continue until the dogs or the cows do or do not come home. Democrats redacted Epstein photos after years in public view, fueling false inference about minors against Trump. Now, if you would look at the photograph, this is the one you've probably seen before if you're a political animal like myself. Here's Trump with a bunch of people with faces that are blacked out to make you think that, oh, these are all underage kids. These are all kids, and Trump is a pedo of the first order. You know, not like Prince Henry or Andrew, I'm sorry, isn't, and or Epstein. And so this was done to make you think, because like a good Joseph Goebbels story, if you keep pounding the crap out of this in terms of propaganda, or Mr. Bernays, who started it all, you just keep pounding this crap, and pretty soon in your mind's eye, yeah, I see a 12-year-old in there. Yeah, there's a 10-year-old in there. Yeah, Trump is a pedo. Read the story. Hey, look, here's the actual photograph. And quotes in the story: I was 22 years old, and I remember him, Trump, being very nice. He was gentlemanly. That's the word that I would use to describe him. So the photos weren't new and not originally redacted, but this is a hoax, and it's picked up by every last damn one of the American media maggots. Now, Trump is suing the BBC right now, I believe, for at least $1 billion. I don't know the numbers, but he's been President Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, has been remarkably successful in his string of lawsuits, which have been embiggening his purses and his wallet, and didn't have to occur if they had just parsed their words. That is to say, the American media maggots and the UK and the EU maggots, depending upon their locale, one each. So this is a lie. This is an intentional lie. It has been proven, and they will continue to say everywhere that this is proof, classic, clear proof that this is Donald John Trump with kids. He's with kids because he's a pedo. Well, We're talking about a soft coup. And as I said, from 2016, following the Trump saying that I've been wiretapped, which meant actually what he meant to say was he was the subject of surveillance, because wiretap means years ago when you climbed up poles and you had a butt set like I used to have, and little alligator clips and lines and exposed wires. So a soft coup, a true soft coup, was again proven against a presidential candidate, a presidential nominee, a president-elect, and a sitting president, and our beloved United States of America and every actual lawful American in it, you and me. And what are we going to do about it? Predominantly nothing, because all of this stuff is owned. Here is John Solomon from Just the News.
A short while ago, Just the News obtained this email. This is a very important email. It comes from the former CIA director, Mike Morrell. Yes, the guy that organized that letter from the 51 intelligence professionals who tried to fake you into thinking that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation when it wasn't. It is between him and John Brennan, one of the signatories. You know who John Brennan is?
You know John Brennan, the guy that Rob Reiner was schmoozing up to.
The Obama CIA director, right? He's the guy that told Obama, hey, Hillary Clinton is doing a dirty trick on Donald Trump called Russia collusion. Well, this is just before the presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Hunter Biden's laptop is flinging out there. This is what Mike Morrell, former CIA director, tells his successor, John Brennan. Hey, sign this letter because I'm, quote, trying to give the campaign, particularly during the debate on Thursday, a talking point to push back on Trump on this issue. A man with a security clearance.
Collusion. Conspiracy. No collusion. Where was the collusion all along? And you and I both know the answer.
A man with the title of CIA director knew that he wasn't creating an intelligence product, a Merrick civic duty with 51 people. He was trying to create a political moment. Damning evidence. We'll try to find out if Congress has this letter, but this is a very important piece. It is the ultimate proof that what went out on that letter was a political dirty trick coordinated with the Biden campaign. A short while.
You know, the proof stacked upon proof, stacked upon proof. And it continues. I had a show not long ago which said something similar to, okay, so what are we going to do about it? When does our tolerance end? That was Saturday night. Well, except it was Jack Alexander who hijacked my show. Damn him. But, and I ask you, I've asked people then, and I'm asking you now, as actual true Americans, how long are you going to stand for this when all has been revealed to you? And I'm going to continue to do that tonight and every other show when this information arrives and comes up. And I don't know, maybe you'll get tired of the corruption. Maybe you'll get tired of listening to me go on and on and on. I need you to be in the mindset where sooner or later, I can't envision any other alternative. We're going to have to consider and envision Civil War II on so many fronts, it's not even remotely conjurable. Because as we take the break, you tell me, okay, well, how long will we take it? And how long will you take it? How long will actual Americans tolerate what is being done, not with us, but to us? And then during the break, you conjure, okay, well, BZ, are you trying to foment violence? Okay, you tell me the alternatives. Other than bending over, grabbing your ankles, and exposing your asshole.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
In a world where leftists are running out of metal for the safety pins of their soothing red diapers, one man stands alone, attempting to fundamentally change America, one leftist diaper at a time. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, is guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat leftists and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Listen to BZ Saloon on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern on the SHR Media YouTube channel, Twitch, KLRN, Rumble, and X at BZ Saloon. It's one great late-night conservatarian talk radio show. Be there. Aloha.
Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name is Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRN Radio.
It's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Just like the Bidens, I too am moving. Only in my case, it's days and times. That's right, you can now find the Edge of Liberty Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 Eastern on the SHR Media Network. Join me as we talk politics, news, alcohol, fun, not so much fun, clowns, small kittens, large kittens, dogs, amoebas, and anything else that just pops into my mind while I'm on the air. That is Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast, on YouTube, X, KLRN Radio, Facebook, Twitch, and anywhere else a good podcast is found. Please check out our website, shrmedia.com. I will see you live on the air.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being, and in the good that comes from exercising these rights well. The founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And I'm I'm BZ. It is 5 minutes after 9 p.m. Pacific. It is 11:05 Central. It is midnight 05 Eastern and 1749.726. Drawer 3, page 60 in Bolivian time, but I could never really understand Bolivian time. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Weird first hour. Good first half hour. Information from Jeremy Hanson. Weird ass second half hour. Weird. Just strange. Hey, you know what? Do me a favor. Just pretend none of that happened. What? I don't remember what happened except the first half hour of the first hour of BZ's show. Other than that, I don't remember a thing, not a thing. Remember I said, hey, you know, what about this. Let me find this. Why are their faces blanked out? And then I said, that's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. And then I said something similar to lawsuits. Who would want a lawsuit over that? Well, the legal reporter at MS Now, former MSNBC, had this to say about, the truth about Trump being a pedo.
But Anna, one thing that stands out to me is the people whose faces are not redacted as compared with images where we can see that the women have faces that are redacted or blurred out. That suggests to me that either the estate and or the committee believe that some of these women are either minors and or survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But on a one...
Did I not already, and did SHR already not prove to you sufficiently that that's unmitigated bullshit? That is all intentional, absolutely intentional. So this falls into, this is slanderous. This is, I think, raw meat, absolute raw meat for a great series of lawsuits. President Trump has a pretty damn good track record. My suggestion is that he continue with this. Now, the thing I wanted to play for you, I don't know, I'm of two minds about this. I wanted to talk about Brown University. And this, I must credit the source of this. I will play it, but I want you to understand where this is coming from, because I'm not trying to make this out as any of my material whatsoever. It is not. This is from the Jesse Waters show, but he and others have nailed this to the floor in such a superior fashion as to make it, I could not possibly do this any better. Brown University stinks. It stinks. The entire thing stinks. It's like the young black man who was arrested behind J6, who Jake Tapper said was a white man. It's like, where, what, how can you possibly? This is just nutter territory. And I don't, it's like, pull it in, rein it in, BZ, rein it in. I don't trust that stupid fucking chief of police from Providence, the mayor who is a Palestinian supporter, Brown University, which is the most leftist university of which I'm cognizant on U.S. soil extant. I don't trust any of these fuckers. The AG, I don't trust him. I was thinking about going, and I'll tell you the various pathways that are being considered right now. Is the mayor, BZ, why try to replicate the video? Let's just go to the video, because it hits all the high points and the bullet points that I want to show and clearly illustrate to you that all of this crap stinks. The J6 arrest stinks. The white male black guy stinks. And they don't want you to know what it's just a guy, it's a white male sniper who was serving in the military. Oh God, that's what we want. We want it to be this young girl cut off before even the prime of her life, and this other guy who was essentially going to become, or was already, a nuclear physicist in some fashion. 2 kids get shot in the classroom of a Jewish professor who didn't happen to be there at the time, but Ella Cook, I believe, is the name of the girl who was shot. She was vice president of the college Republicans. And so it just, this all stinks. Do you still believe, after all of these years, in anything remotely resembling coinky-dink? I do not. So you can't prove to me, unless you prove without, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that it wasn't somebody who was pro-Palestinian, pro-Muzzy, anti-Jew, who did in fact yell Allahu Akbar before going into the room and killing 2 people. This appears to be really super incredibly specifically, did I say specifically, targeted and intentional. Not a campus, I'll shoot everybody and kill everybody. No. And then running around the internet, and I put them out there. If you want to go to my X, I'm at BZ Saloon on X. Go to my X, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, which may or may not be conspiracy theory of some Muzzy dude who may or may not be aligned with this. One of the reasons that I put it in X is because if I don't, then this shit tends to disappear, and I forget where it is, because anybody who knows me knows I don't give a flying fuck about making friends on social media. Couldn't care less. That's not why it's here. I use social media as a repository, as a remembrance, as a point of doing research where I can find stories for my show. So if you want to find out what's going to be on my show, go to my social media, go to my X feed. That's what I'm going to talk about. I don't give a ragged ass pustule from a rat as to making friends on social media. Friends aren't the things that I need. They don't help me through life. It's what I'm going to talk about. And so all the stuff on X, God, BZ, stop. Just get to the damn video.
Fox News alert. There's a man.
So it's Fox News. I want to acknowledge this again. It's Fox News. It's the Jesse Waters show. And it's about Providence, Rhode Island. Listen, and I may happen to weigh in a time or two.
Manhunt underway for the shooter who left 2 dead and 9 wounded at Brown University Saturday. Students were holding a study session for finals when a masked man entered the lecture hall armed with a long gun and started firing. Here's an eyewitness.
I was standing in the front, so as soon as he walked in, he immediately saw me and I immediately saw him. And then I look to my right and I see a bunch of students running down the stairs, running out the door, jumping on the...
Okay, stop. What's your first question if you're this reporter? Which he did not ask, and that was intentional. What's your first question if you're this reporter? Hey, kid, stop. What'd that guy look like? What did you see? What was he wearing? How tall was he? Was he kind of heavy? Was he thin? Was he wearing glasses? Did he have a beard? Did he have any facial issues, tattoos, anything that you would remember? The American media maggots are the least curious class of anyone. Would that not be your first damn question when you've got somebody directly in front of you, here and now, who has the ability, and you won't know if he does or doesn't until you ask him, but you don't ask.
Ground, just whatever it takes to stay alive. When I saw him, I saw a gun. I genuinely thought, like, okay, this is the end of the road for me.
How soon did he start shooting after he entered the room?
He just started shooting right away. There was no hesitation.
That guy and about 20 other students ducked behind a long desk inside the auditorium and just waited for the gunshots to stop. The AP says around 40 rounds were fired. This went down around 4:05 Saturday afternoon in Rhode Island. Brown University didn't send out an alert until 17 minutes later.
Why?
Telling students to shelter in place. And not a single one of the sirens on campus went off.
Why? Why? Who's asking questions? Not ABC. Jesse Waters.
Apparently, the Providence police and campus safety officers didn't make it to the scene of the crime in time to apprehend the shooter. Students were locked down for 9 hours, crouching underneath desks, barricading themselves behind their beds.
How does that happen? How does that happen? Now, granted, Providence may be a remarkably and abjectly incompetent police department. But this falls into, the Beasy theory of when you don't have a name, when you don't have a shooter, history has tended to this point to push and thrust onto me two possibilities with nothing in the middle. And that is, these people are absolutely, incredibly, brain-glazingly, startlingly incompetent, or their incompetence and failure to cover and remediate is intentional.
Texting "I love you" to their family while police went door to door.
That's breaking down the door.
At 6 a.m. the following day, Brown lifted the lockdown. One of the victims was 19-year-old sophomore Ella Cook. She was the vice president of Brown's Republican Club, an Alabama native who was a devout Christian.
Absolute coincidence, right?
Her pastor described her as a tremendous bright light, and she may have been the most prominent Republican on campus. Brown's considered the most liberal of all the Ivy League schools. So any members of the college Republicans would be very well known.
The family of Ella Cook, the Alabama young woman who was a sophomore, has been told that she was the target of what happened at Brown. I have no idea whether that's true.
And the other thing is, if the police are telling Brown students that they are safe, they don't have to shelter in place anymore, but they don't have a suspect in custody, I think that also suggests that this was some kind of targeted attack.
Thank you. Finally, someone with some common sense.
Well, we haven't confirmed that yet, but Primetime's investigating. We're also hearing that the shooter may have screamed something before he opened fire.
Oh, don't say anything about that. What the hell is wrong with you?
We haven't confirmed that, and police have been very coy.
There's a report the shooter yelled something right before his shot came in. Can you tell us what that was?
Yes, part of the investigation.
Is there anything else?
Okay, stop. If you don't know, you say, I don't know. But the lack of a statement, a clear statement, hey, we don't know, means you know, means you're not going to tell us, means that may lead to some place that's going to be very embarrassing for every one of those fucknuts that are up there on that stage. To include the AG on the far left, to include that chief, that mayor, and I think the person on the right probably has something to do with the university. I don't trust any of them.
Inside that auditorium that you could tell us.
No, that's,
Did he yell though? Did something say something?
That's something that we're investigating. We took statements and we have
Is there
to
any
confirm.
audio from the scene? Any cell phones? There are a lot of cell phones.
Either say, I don't know, or I can't tell you. And the first thing, because I did this crap for 41, almost 42 years. I know what you're doing. Be honest. You don't have to say what you know about the investigation, but either say, I don't know, or no, it really doesn't. It makes you look like you're covering, like it's a cover-up.
We're gonna wrap it up here.
He doesn't want, that's the mayor, he doesn't want to spill anything about this. All my spidey senses are on fire when I watch that.
So a guy walks into an Ivy League building, lets off 40 rounds, murders 2 people, walks out, and 3 days later, we have no idea where he is or who he is.
Why no video? Why no cell phone video? Why no video from all the cameras that are inside the school? You think that being the expensive kind of school that is there with those kind of charged tuitions, that they're not going to cover their students with cameras as much as humanly possible?
I guess we're assuming it's a he, but we don't even know that for sure. And police won't even say if it's a man or a woman. Police thought they had their suspect, a white Army veteran.
Now someone...
Because why? That's the perfect suspect for this story. Wouldn't it be just shits and giggles if it turns out to be This was a military sniper gone off the rails who's a white guy on his meds or off his meds. That's the story that was wanted, comma, wasn't it?
In custody, kind of how you all are working together to garner that information.
Custody is the wrong word.
Someone being detained, rather.
Correct.
But late last night, they said, oops.
Clue. When do you tell the chief of police what to say?
Wrong guy.
Shortly, we will be releasing the person of interest who had been detained earlier today.
Providence Mayor Brett Smiley isn't even sure releasing this guy was the right call.
So you're absolutely convinced the person of interest had nothing to do with this?
Stinks. Party for, I don't know, how many people are in Providence? 30,000, 50,000, 100,000?
We're not saying that definitively. What we're saying is that after a review of the evidence that was gathered, it was determined that the person of interest needed to be released.
CBS is
because ... See, humans are inventive people. And when you leave major gaps, those gaps are going to be filled. That's the first thing that you understand and must understand as a PIO for any agency whatsoever. Be honest. If you can't say, I can't say. Or if you don't know, say, I don't know. But you're creating this illusion of, yeah, we know, we're not going to tell you. We think it might lead someplace where you really don't want it to go at all. It's not in keeping with what we profess to be our philosophy here at Brown University.
Investigators had to restart the investigation after early missteps that cost them several hours. As things stand tonight, Rhode Island doesn't seem to have any leads.
Screwed the pooch.
The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for any tips that could lead to an arrest. And moments ago, officials held a presser to release new images of the suspected shooter.
Stop. Have you heard about the FBI taking over the investigation, as a matter of fact? I have not. Perhaps you have. Let me know.
Sporting all black threads with a beanie and a face mask, walking on a sidewalk in the vicinity of the shooting. This was recorded a couple hours before the shooting, so it looks like it was premeditated and this person was casing the area.
Okay, like I said, premeditated, intentional, and very pointed, very focused. Didn't go on a spree around the rest of the building, the rest of the campus, nothing like that.
These are the clearest surveillance videos.
So who's the victim? Who's in the class? Who's the instructor of the class? Why aren't we hearing about that?
Videos that we have so far, and there's not much to go on. All I can say is we can probably rule out a black guy. We're looking at a chubby, white, Hispanic, or Muslim male, about medium height.
Uh-oh, he said Muslim.
Even with the new surveillance out, the police won't tell us anything.
Is there a new description you can give us?
There is, and it will be on that poster that we're going to be releasing on the images.
Okay, so
What? Are you? Yes, that guy is that incompetent. We're going to make you go to the internet when we have a massive audience captured right now where we could tell you about the suspect, maybe even hold up a photograph and see, look, suspect and photos. No, we're not going to take advantage of what we have, of the opportunity created at this point. We want you to go someplace else. Why?
Millions of people were watching the police chief live, and he said he'd put it out online. Why wouldn't he just tell us? Well, we checked online, and 2 hours later, he said the suspect is light-skinned and stocky. Brown University has over 800
But you couldn't say that then.
security cameras across campus.
How many? Let me go back here just a little bit. Security cameras. How many?
Brown University has over 800 security cameras across campus.
And they captured nothing, or they captured much, and that information is not going to be released because it's not in compliance with the wanted narrative.
Cameras are located in campus buildings and walkways and public streets, but not a single camera got a clear shot of this guy going into the building or leaving the building. And Police Chief Oscar Perez has been confused from the jump.
Brown University is the most camera-ridden,
This is great. This is great.
most conscious piece of real estate in Rhode Island, and yet there seems to be little or no video evidence outside of that clip. Is there a lot more video that we're just not able to see yet because of the ongoing investigation, or is there simply no video?
So what we shared with you the other day is what we have.
Okay. We have.
Okay. I don't know any other way to couch it other than that's a lie. That's a big lie. That's a huge lie. I don't trust you. I didn't trust you from the beginning. Now I really don't trust you. Why should we trust anything that you say? I don't trust anybody in that government. I don't trust anybody as a spokesman. I don't trust you. My spidey sense is tingling. All the bells and the klaxons are going off in my brainulus, and they should all be going off in yours. This stinks.
High resolution cameras for speeding tickets, but not for mass shooters at Ivy League schools. Brown's tuition is $70,000 a year. The school's endowment is $8 billion. And someone just walked on campus, murdered 2 students, and got away. And the president of the university is playing catch up.
President, with all due respect, 6 hours after the shooting, and you said you don't know what was going on in that classroom, how does that happen? Were they taking an exam? Were they meeting for a club?
I don't know. I don't know.
She knows. Not going to tell you. Did the instructor, who apparently was not present at the time, was she Jewish? What class was she teaching? Oh, that can't come out.
Hours later, you're the president and you don't know.
I do not know.
So, that's kind of concerning.
And let me guess, this moron and all the rest of the moronies surrounding her probably make a good $2, $3, $4, $500,000 a year, particularly her.
Trump says Brown dropped the ball, but the FBI is there if they need them.
They had their own guards, they had their own police, they had their own everything, but you'd have to ask that question really to the school, not to the FBI. We came in after the fact.
The FBI doesn't have jurisdiction over this case. When the locals ask for help, they'll help, but the locals are running this investigation.
Okay, so there's the answer. The FBI is not involved. Why not take advantage of whatever pieces of equipment or assistance are available, because you don't wish the FBI to uncover things that you're not yet prepared to reveal, because they would find the answers.
And even the local media has had it with their leadership.
President Donald Trump has said that Brown University is to blame for this shooting, saying it's the school's problem. Is that a fair criticism, or do you disagree with what the president
I don't think it's fair criticism.
said? Can you expand on that?
Why not? Because Brown University is not collaborating with you guys. You're lying to the press over here.
Thank
They
you.
have facial recognition. We know that because they follow the students, they follow everybody in the neighborhood.
We've had
Facial
conversations.
recognition. They need to release that data so everybody know who the guy in the video. We got the video Saturday. Why you guys release the video today?
I think I answered the question.
Bye. Not going to talk to you. You're the American media maggots who are usually massively friendly to these guys, to leftists, to Brown University, but you decide to exit stage left.
It's been 72 hours. This guy could be anywhere by now. The FBI is going to have to come in and do their thing. But Providence is on edge.
But the FBI cannot force their way in unless they can winkle around some kind of a wedge issue to make it a cross-jurisdictional or cross-state line situation or a situation upon which they personally have much more experience with. And apparently Providence is, to my knowledge at this point, telling the FBI to take a big cup of just fuck off.
They're being told to remain calm, but don't have a lot of confidence in city officials.
There's been no new, credible, specific threat.
Oh, and I forgot, he's tired. He's tired. Oh, these guys are so tired.
Anywhere in the Providence community.
With respect
having
to Mayor,
anything.
there was no threats made prior to the shooting, so how can people feel safe with that information?
The way in which we are trying to reassure our residents is through a noted, visible police presence throughout the community.
Stop. When we lost an officer in 2014, 2014, there was an officer by the name of Vu Nguyen. He was shot to death on top of a chicken coop. And almost every damn officer we had in the department at the time worked overtime. They worked 24 hours. They worked 36 hours. They worked 48 hours. Some worked 72 hours straight. Some had no food. Some had no rest. And it wasn't a matter of being, oh, we're tired. It's a matter of, we're not resting until we find the cocksucker that shot our deputy. These people, I have never seen a collection of greater just indifference about the loss of life almost anywhere recently. I mean, this almost borders on Australia. You know, you didn't lose 15 people killed. That was Australia. You lost 2, but you know, we don't have anything. We're not going to give anything. I'm tired.
The shooter could still be in Providence, or he could be in Virginia. Mayor Smiley says he went to go look for him at a pizza joint and grabbed a slice while he was on the clock.
I talked to one of the women at Antonio's, which some of you know is a pizza by the slice joint. And
pizza by the slice joint. And just the memory of that makes him smile. Great timing.
And she said, you know, I didn't want to come to work today, but I needed to work. I needed to take the shift. And
by the way, as you can see, I went right through the break. We're going to continue.
And that's a very real thing happening in our community right now.
The best video we have of this guy is a ring camera shot where you can't see his face. But Mayor Smiley says he just wants to go to bed.
Everyone you see behind us, we've all been working for now 49 hours. We're tired.
Tired?
That's not a word you use during an incident, during a critical incident like this, when you have 2 students who are killed on a college campus and you have nothing.
Students are dead, 9 in the hospital, and you have no clue what happened. Smiley wasn't tired when he was marching for gay pride or fighting Trump.
By the way, that's his husband on the left.
The question is whether actions like this will actually help us get to zero. I don't think they will. Community policing works. Having local law enforcement with a relationship with the neighborhoods that they are policing and patrolling.
He could find time to locate his umbrage gene within for that situation. Couldn't find it for murders.
Works. Sending in National Guards men and women who have not been trained in urban policing, are not trained community police officers, isn't going to make our cities any safer.
Imagine if they had the National Guard in Providence. That shooter probably wouldn't have opened fire. The Rhode Island Attorney General, all he does is sue Trump and
this guy is a sack of fecal material.
resist ICE. And his office is completely out of control. His assistant is the lawyer who got intoxicated last summer and assaulted officers, remember?
This is great.
I don't want to arrest you guys. You're not going to arrest us. I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
Do you know who I am? I'm a Karen.
I'm an AG. Buddy, you're going to regret this. Yeah. You're going to regret
He didn't.
What kind of office is this guy running? Families want answers. Hundreds of students just fled campus. The city's on a brink, and the locals are whining that they're tired. Every day the manhunt goes on, the less likely it is to get justice. Let's hope they crack this case. If you have any information, please reach out to the FBI and the Providence Police Department.
Yeah, FBI first, Providence last, because it's damn clear and evident. They have zero impetus, zero interest in doing anything about this. Now, we were talking about lawsuits. We were talking about the SHR article in which, there were so many women that this proves that Trump is a pedo. Well, what do you smell, Lassie? What is it that you smell? I smell our lawsuit. Here's another lawsuit in the offing. I had to play this. This isn't new per se, but this is a lawsuit. Trump, if you're listening to me or any of your friends or anybody here who feels sufficiently motivated, send this to Donald John Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, because this is Chris Murphy from Connecticut saying, oh, well, just listen. I don't think this is worth a lawsuit. Do you?
This morning on Truth Social, there have been many posts about Jeffrey Epstein and what he is now deeming the Epstein hoax. He's saying he wants the Department of Justice to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's relationships with Democrats, Larry Summers, JP Morgan Chase, Bill Clinton. He's lashed out at Republicans for continuing to focus on this. What is your? I hesitate to ask you to get inside the man's head, but get inside his head. What is going on? Do you think?
I really don't want to.
Okay. Well, what?
Go ahead, Chris Murphy.
As you observe this, you're an interested party here. What is your take on how this is playing out and why he's acting in incredibly guilty fashion?
Well, he is in daily panic mode as we get closer to the moment where these files and the fullest truth that we have available to us is going to be made public. And it is clearly the biggest scandal in presidential history. And he wouldn't be acting this way if...
Okay, stop just a moment. That's the point when I put this up. We really got you. It's the worst in history ever. Worse than the first 75 other things that we lined up to make sure that you do time or you get shot in the head. This is the worst. If you thought the others were the worst, this is the worsterest of them all.
He wasn't so deeply worried about what sits in those files. What we've already seen is immensely incriminating. Clearly, Donald Trump was at the center of a child sex ring. That is heartbreaking that the President of the United States...
Let me go back and play this again, and then I'm going to stop. Here's the sentence right here.
That is heartbreaking that the President of the United States was involved in that kind of gross, craven immorality. And it stands to reason that he wouldn't be fighting so hard to spin against this story or bullying Republicans in the House to prevent the release of these files if there wasn't something especially and specifically incriminating in that information. This is at the center of a child sex ring. That is, Donald Trump was at the center. Clearly, Donald Trump was at the center. Clearly, Donald Trump was at the center of a child sex ring. Clearly, Donald Trump was at the center of a child sex. Clearly, Donald Trump was at the center of a child sex ring.
I think you've got it by now, don't you? That's the operative sentence. Those are the operative words. It's not I think, it's not hedging, it's not I believe, it's not things kind of indicate to me that perhaps it's yes. That's what I know happened. What other interpretation can you potentially possibly make out of all of that? Oh, and let's talk about election rolls. Oh, Jesus. I'm just, I looked at the time on my watch on here and up there. Okay. I may do some overtime. I know that's going to shock some people. And I know it's going to shock people when I tell you that I may, God willing, and the creek don't rise, I may have more of this, of a similar a bunch of information for you like this on Thursday, because I haven't even begun to tap all the things that must be tapped. So DOJ found hundreds of thousands of dead voters and thousands of illegal voters. Democrats say there is no voter fraud. Show us the proof. So the DOJ, Georgia Secretary of State Raffensperger refuses to hand over records and still hides 100,000 plus Fulton County, Georgia ballots. Georgia is blocking transparency. What are they hiding?
Hi, I'm Harmeet Dillon, Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, and I'm here to share an important update about one of my many important duties here at the DOJ, which is enforcing our federal election laws. Here's some facts and figures for you. In the last 8 months, the DOJ has reached out to all 50 states, asking them to share their voter rolls with us so that we can help them comply with the Help America Vote Act, which requires states to maintain clean voter rolls.
Okay. But if she doesn't say, because I haven't seen this recently, there are Republican red states who are refusing. Why would you refuse to release your information to your voter rolls so that your rolls can be clean and pure? I don't give a ferret's vagina about whether you're blue or red. Your rolls must be clean. They must be as pristine as possible. And if, I'm sorry, I don't know any other way to say it, red or blue. And if you're interested in making sure that no one gets any information about this, you're as corrupt as hell.
4 states complied voluntarily. We sued North Carolina early on, and they are checking the voter records of 100,000 voters who were improperly enrolled on their voter rolls, and they're going to fix their problem voluntarily. We have an agreement in place almost with another dozen states, and I expect very soon we'll be looking at their voter data and comparing it with our records and helping them clean up those voter rolls.
Stop. Okay, but these are the things that you're not supposed to know. And at least I can say, I know all of these things don't occur as quickly as you and I would want. I understand it. I get it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's so much deceit and corruption out there that these people almost don't, they're gobsmacked. They almost don't know, where the hell do we start? Everything is rotting. Everywhere we go, we see rot and corruption. Is there anything that is not corrupt that we're encountering? 218, for example, to continue, 218,000 Arizona voters were mistakenly marked as having provided documentary proof of citizenship when they weren't.
Now, this new data set, as they're calling it, brings the total number of people impacted to 218,000 instead of the 98,000 we first reported. These people were mistakenly marked as having provided documentary proof of citizenship, and Arizona voter registration database now has correctly flagged the impacted individuals. Election officials say they will contact the affected Arizonans with information regarding their status after the general election.
Stop. What's the first question asked by a good attorney, DA or defender or otherwise, in a courtroom when you encounter information like this? And that is, are you lying to me then? Were you lying to me then? Or are you lying to me now? You were either corrupt and incompetent then, or you're corrupt and incompetent now. Which is it? Tell me. There's no other question that you can possibly potentially ask of anybody like this. Let's go back a little bit. This is going to end this segment. Jesus, oh my God. BZ, you took up way too much time for your personal crap at the beginning of this show. God, if I could just rewind and get that half hour back in my life. Oh, Lord, that was a waste of time. But here's more information revealed. And it's like, folks, we are being undermined. When do you begin to draw a line where you say something similar to, I don't know, I'm starting to get a little tired of this. I don't know. I'm tired of having my wallet drained and my money used against me because I'm an actual taxpayer and I work hard to pay my taxes because I will be prosecuted if I do not pay them. So what's your option? Your option is to sit like a stump, watch TV, and do nothing. Because it is never ending to the point where, and like I said, for a long time ago, I'm going to get to this video. This is about almost a 2-minute video with Tucker Carlson of all people talking about Christopher Wray. But I credit Donald John Trump with doing two incredible things. And my threshold apparently was so low that I was happy and overjoyed if he did two things. Number one, Hillary Clinton was not elected president. I'll get back to that. Number two, he put good jurists into SCOTUS. Well, we have some remarks about that, but at least they weren't hard lefties. But initially, Trump 45, can you imagine what you and me and we would not know if Hillary Clinton became president? January 20th, 2017. Everything that had been steamrollering right along in perfect synchronicity for the Democrats and leftists would still be continuing. And we wouldn't know a minuscule fraction of that kind of information. So they knew. Democrats knew. Everybody knew. FBI Director Christopher Wray did, in fact, have DNA evidence that confirmed Ilhan Omar, in fact, in truth, did marry her own brother, Ahmed Nur Saeed Elmi, and admitted she would do what she had to do in order to get him papers to get him into the U.S., but of course, covered it up.
So it's been known for quite a while that Ilhan Omar apparently married her own brother to help him gain entry illegally into the country. That's a violation of immigration law. That actually happened, it turns out. And now we're learning the FBI had evidence to confirm it, but didn't do anything about it. Miranda Devine is an actual journalist. She works at the New York Post, where she writes a column. She joins us tonight to explain what exactly happened. Miranda, thanks so much for coming on.
Pleasure, Tucker. Well, some basically Republican operatives up in Minnesota decided to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on private investigators to really find out if Ilhan Omar was a genetic match, the DNA match to the man who was her second husband. They went to 3 continents. They found a cigarette butt and a drinking straw which they decided, they sent it to a DNA laboratory and found conclusively that the DNA matched.
Refute DNA evidence, if you will, please. But of course, because it was Ray at the time, none of this gets unearthed. Nothing happens because of it. But the information still is there. The information is available.
Continuing coverage now on the app.
And for all of us. And then there are those who are fleecing United States citizens, who are absolutely outraged that they would have to proffer any kind of finger lifting for the free food and the free coin that we give them. This is specifically with regard to SNAP eligibility, because as far as this guy is concerned, it's your job to make sure that he is living the life of Riley. Let's advance to him and let's let him talk and weigh in.
Groceries.
That's some bull.
Nelson Scott is on the verge of losing access to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. He is 38, not disabled, doesn't have any kids, doesn't go to school, and doesn't have a job. Those are just some of the reasons he is no longer eligible for SNAP benefits. How much did SNAP help you?
It helped me a lot. I get $292 a month.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture cracked.
We are cultivating people like this. We're growing them. We're taking little bitty lizards. We're petting them. We're watering them. We're feeding them, hoping that they will hate the United States, hate the hand that feeds them. And we take these little lizards and we grow them intentionally into huge dragons. Why? This is a useless eater. Now, I hate to use that term because the WEF had used that against basically all the rest of the people on the planet. We're all useless eaters, to Klaus Schwab. Thank God he's dead. But you're a useless eater. Well, so is that guy. That is a parasite, and we are the hosts. And again, I ask, this is a Democrat cover-up, and I'm not going to even get to the Democrat covering up the Muslim terror stuff tonight. Those are facts and evidence. How much do we take? How much longer do we allow Democrats to cover up, screw us, use our money against us, and use our money to enrich themselves personally and collectively? And I haven't even gotten into NGOs yet. None of that. So where I have to ask you, where does it happen? How does it happen? I was thinking about doing this next. I might do this just because Tim Pool pops off at real Candace Owens. I still don't get the whole thing between Candace Owens. Apparently, Candace Owens and Erica Kirk had to sit down for about 4 hours. No one is particularly saying what the outcome of that meeting was, but Tim was not happy.
Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate cunt. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit.
Now, perhaps you may be wondering, BZ, why are you playing this where some guy in a beanie is going off on Candace Owens? Oh, because this is Tim Pool of the Timcast, to get my vernacular correct. And he was shot at. His house was shot at and raked by fire. You know, where he lives, where his family lives, where his wife lives. So he might be a little upset because of that. Oh my. Okay. What do I have? I got 5 minutes. Okay, one more video. I'm not probably going to go into overtime because I'm kind of nutted up about what's going to happen tomorrow. Just at the time when you need vodka, you can't handle the vodka. That shit's not funny, okay? Just saying. So anyway, let's see if I get this right. Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Alito are in the process of nuking the independent commission scam, a potential win for Trump. So the argument is, can Congress just make any cabinet office an independent commission, thereby destroying the presidency? Behind this is the CPSB, Consumer Product Safety Board. And they rule with an iron fist. No one voted them in. No one elected them. They just get appointed. They make rulings like the ATF, and there is essentially no, you have to sue the shit out of them to get anywhere. And predominantly, they don't get sued. So let's hear Jonathan Turley weigh in on this, because if this goes for Trump and the CP, Consumer Protection Safety Board or Council, if it goes pro-Trump, then it takes power away from the deep state, who is the fourth branch of government, and limits their power, limits their control, which limits their money. Jonathan Turley.
And agencies are not accountable to the people. They're not elected, as Congress and the president are, and are exercising massive power over individual liberty and billion-dollar industries, whether it's the FCC or the FTC or whatever.
Thoughts on Kavanaugh's words, Jonathan?
Well, both Kavanaugh and Alito really made short work of those defending this law. They kept on presenting hypotheticals, what they called hard hypotheticals, of where does this take you? Both of them said, well, can you just go ahead and make any cabinet department an independent commission? Can you specify just one commissioner? Can you make their length in office 20 years? All of those questions left the other side floundering. The best that they could say at points was, well, if something like that happens, you could come back and look at it. Well, the justices are looking at it now. And one of the things that should be unnerving is that those justices that normally form an alliance in these cases with the left of the court were not there today. Chief Justice Roberts really stomped on Humphrey's estate and said that it was basically a desiccated or dried up precedent. Justice Barrett said these commissions don't look anything like what existed at the time of some of these earlier cases. So that's not a good omen if you want Humphrey's estate to live to 91.
What that means, I'll translate for you. What that means is that, as I indicated prior, if this case is lost, then the deep state loses a massive, a tragic, a huge amount of power. And this power is generally wielded by Democrats and leftists. And so if they lose this case at SCOTUS, they stand to lose essentially everything that they have. The power, it's power and control wielded by Democrats and leftists. I know of no other way to put that. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for listening to me, BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here in the SHR Media Network, the Nof, Idaho adjunct, in a small little room with a TV and a big computer that makes me really hot inside here. Wow, it's warm in here in the summertime. And thanks to Jeremy Hanson for also being here tonight. Promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and also Shure and Electro Voice microphones, not the elite one that he has, the Arrakis Corporation that make my mixer, and also Pratt & Whitney engines, the likes of which, they're dependable, produce thrust. You can trust. And also, as per normal, I want to say that tiaras are by My Little Pony. And also, as I've said any number of times, thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, for the first time ever, I'm going to say, with whom I am not consorting tonight at all. Thanks to everybody for being here. I'll give updates. Hope to see you Thursday. Everybody, God bless. Take care. Be safe.
Get some sleep. Good night, everybody. Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night and good luck.